Everybody knows, no matter what they do not know, that they wouldn't like to be a black man in this country. They know that, and they shut their minds against the rest of it, all the implications of being a black father, or a black woman, or a black son.
Tonight, North Richland Hills police identified the man they say shot and killed his Uber driver. That was him. Police say 30-year-old Kane Roden was drunk when officers found him early yesterday morning. He's accused of murdering a man loved ones described as a husband, father, and a father figure to many.
The victim, again described as a strong, caring, hardworking individual. I'm told he's been driving for Uber for quite some time. Before that, he was a taxi driver.
The great question in the country has been all the years that I've been living here, and I was born here 43 years ago, is what does a Negro want? And this question masks a terrible knowledge. I want exactly what you want. And you know what you want. I want to be left alone.
A widow and her child heartbroken and hoping for justice. Her husband, 60-year-old Tiharu Diallo, a rideshare driver, was shot and killed by his passenger, according to North Richland Hills police.
No, we're talking about the life and death of this country. And one of the things, I'm not joking when I talk about White History Week, one of the things which most afflicts this country is that white people don't know who they are or where they come from. That's why you think I'm a problem. But I am not the problem. Your history is. And as long as you pretend you don't know your history, you're going to be the prisoner of it. And there's no question of you're liberating me, because you can't liberate yourselves. We're in this together.
Diallo just recently became a father a few years ago, but his family says he's a known father figure to many.
He's seen me through different phases of my life. And you know, it's hard to process that he's not going to be there to experience all the other parts of my life.
They wouldn't like to be a black man in this country. They know that, and they shut their minds against the rest of it.
I saw a man come from around the passenger side, around the back of the car, and I saw him shoot. 2 hands. Looked almost like the stance. And I saw him shoot, heard it, saw the flash, and I ran away.
As quote-unquote black fatigue becomes a lightning rod in popular discourse, I only thought it prudent to document the story of Tahirou Diallo. This story is emblematic of how complex America is. When Tahirou Diallo signed up to be an Uber driver, his ultimate goal was to provide for his family. It's unfair to attribute this sole encounter strictly to racial malice, the way that other popular events are. But when James Baldwin simply says, "We as black people want to be left alone," he is speaking to the simple premise that all people, but especially black people, immigrants as well as ADOS black Americans, are looking for safety and dignity. The quest for these two precious ideas, spoken about decades ago by James Baldwin, continue to be searched for today.
I went to France in 1948. When I was quite young, I went there with $40, no French, no one-way ticket. Or in other words, I was getting out of here. I didn't so much go to Paris as leave New York. And the reason I left New York was because I knew that one fine Tuesday, somebody's going to call me nigger just once too often, and somebody was going to die, and I didn't care which one of us it was. So I split. I didn't know what was going to happen to me in Paris, but I knew what was going to happen to me here.
Police say the rideshare passenger was 30-year-old Kane Roden, who now faces a murder charge. Roden was highly intoxicated, according to officers, and a firearm was found next to him when he was arrested. A motive is still being investigated. For Diallo's loved ones, they know the 60-year-old was killed on the job, trying to provide a living for his family.
All he do is just to go work, take care of his family. Somebody that we will miss, but we will never forget him.
But I think that whenever a black person tries to tell the truth about his situation to white people, to people who think they're white, because white is a state of mind. It's even a moral choice. Every time, if my testimony is true, my testimony is a black citizen of this country or a black would-be citizen of this country, if my testimony is true, then the American myth is a lie. And when this collision happens, I'm accused of being prejudiced against white people. I have better sense and don't have that much time. I don't have some white person locked up in my skull, walking around with me every day and every hour. White people have a black person locked up in their skulls. And that's why they treat black people the way they do.
Roden, the suspect, remains in the Tarrant County Jail this evening. Again, he is charged with murder. In addition to murder, he is also being held on 2 outstanding charges from a different law enforcement agency here in North Texas. That includes a violence against family charge and also violating bond and protective order charge. Roden does have a criminal history. According to public records, some previous charges include aggravated assault with a deadly weapon and terroristic threat of a family household.
I want to be left alone. I don't want any of the things that people accuse Negroes of wanting. And I don't hate you. I simply want to be able to raise my children in peace and arrive at my own maturity in my own way, in peace. I don't want to be defined by you. I think that you and I might learn a great deal from each other if you can overcome the curtain of my color. The curtain of my color is what you use to avoid facing the facts of our common history, the facts of American life. It is easy to call me a Negro or a nigger or a promising black man, but in fact, I'm a man like you. I want to live like you. This country is mine too. I paid as much for it as you. White means that you are European still. And black means that I'm African. And we both know, we've both been here too long. You can't go back to Ireland or Poland or England, and I can't go back to Africa. And we will live here together, or we'll die here together. And it's not I am telling you, time is telling you. You will listen or you will perish.
What many people new to the racial dynamic in America do is oversimplify it. If only the quote-unquote degenerate black underclass would just behave better, everything would be okay. But America's short history is violent and full of mass shootings, mob violence, disparities in administration of justice, and even public celebrations of death. This is the common history that many tell others to get over, even though this history lives on in black and white people's shared blood and our shared last names. There's only one way to solve this complex problem, but it's not an easy fix.
How much change do you see since the fire next time? What are the true issues before American civil rights leaders today? Are any false, so on?
What I would like to do, what I would really like to do, is an idea which maybe we can take hold of in this room. I want to establish modest proposal, White History Week. But the answer to these questions is not to be found in me, but in that history which produces these questions. It's late in the day to be talking about race relations. What are you talking about? And if as long as we have race relations, how can they deteriorate or improve? I am not a race, and neither are you. No, we're talking about the life and death of this country. And one of the things, I'm not joking when I talk about White History Week, one of the things which most afflicts this country is that white people don't know who they are or where they come from. And that's why you think I'm a problem. But I am not the problem. Your history is. And as long as you pretend you don't know your history, you're going to be the prisoner of it. And there's no question of you're liberating me, because you can't liberate yourselves. We're in this together. And finally, when white people, quote unquote white people, talk about progress in relationship to black people, all they are saying and all they can possibly mean by the word progress is how quickly and how thoroughly I become white. I don't want to become white. I want to grow up, and so should you. Thank you.
There will always be attention given to the lightning rod takes that point the finger at black people, and black men in particular, for America's ills. They will use stats like arrest or crime per capita to buoy such claims. To that I would reply, how did Cain Roden, who had multiple outstanding warrants, not only have his freedom when he committed his crime, but he was not even on house arrest to where he had the ability to drink? These disparities are often left out of oversimplified conversations on race in America. But the bigger problem is, I ask my white brothers and sisters, will blaming black people make our society safer? After all, America created American descendants of slaves. Our culture, language, religion, and even our fates are intertwined. As Jimmy Baldwin warned us decades ago, we share a common fate. This black fatigue can resurface in a way that none of us will be able to control or escape, no matter the class or wealth that any of us have obtained as black people. Thanks for watching. Like, subscribe, comment below. I'll catch you in the next video. Take care, guys.